Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to share with you the memory, the legacy, and the inspiration of a great champion of liberty, Kakha Bendukidze, whom we lost on November 13th of last year. Kakha is legendary among friends of liberty in the countries of the former Soviet Union. He was a biologist by training, and as the Soviet Union was collapsing, he became an entrepreneur and focused on creating value. As a leader of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs, he pushed for adoption of one of Russia's most successful reforms, the 13% flat tax. He also became increasingly interested in libertarian thought and eagerly promoted the ideas of liberty in Russia. I met Kakha some 10 years ago in planning a conference in Moscow, at which he spoke, in which he generously supported logistically, financially, and intellectually. Soon after that, he left Russia as the turn toward cronyist statism became evident. He returned to his native country of Georgia and joined the government as Minister of Economics. He explained in very direct and clear terms to the public, to politicians, to the media, to academics, to students, to farmers, to taxi drivers, to shop workers, to anyone who would listen, that socialism and state interventionism are unjust obstacles to prosperity and freedom. Kakha convinced the Georgian government to simplify and lower taxes, as he had done in Russia, but he did so much more. He and his team identified 909 business activities that required state permissions and licenses. They presented them to the parliament for abolition. They cut the number to 137, an 85% reduction in the number of government licenses. They cut government employment by 50%. He reduced his own ministry from 600 employees to 6, and then he abolished it. Tariffs were abolished or slashed, and travel was liberalized. State assets were transferred to private owners transparently and without discrimination. Kakha replaced chronic cronyism with the rule of law. And not only in economic policy, he instituted the most effective anti-corruption campaign in human history. He dismissed thousands of corrupt and violent police officers and tore down the old Soviet police stations and replaced them with new ones built entirely of transparent glass. He transformed a truly corrupt and predatory state into something more closely approximating an organization for public service. Kakha also thought about the long run. He devoted his personal fortune, earned as an honest businessman, not everyone in Russia was corrupt, as Kakha proved, into education for liberty and enterprise. He created the Knowledge Fund in the Free University of Tbilisi in 2007 with his personal fortune. And through the Global Liberal Network, he learned from the successful liberty-oriented Francisco Marroquin University in Guatemala. Last March, I worked with Kakha and others to organize the Emergency Economic Summit for Ukraine, laying out a liberal reform agenda for that struggling country. Over 600 people took part, including government ministers. Kakha, as usual, was direct and very blunt in his advice. He later became an advisor to President Poroshenko, and he would have become the first non-Ukrainian and the first libertarian ever to sit in the Ukrainian cabinet. Recently, 450 Russian and Ukrainian-speaking students of the European Students for Liberty gathered in Kiev at their Ukraine summit. Kakha was scheduled to be the keynote speaker, and the young people were eager to hear him. Instead, the program was dedicated to his memory and his inspiration. I concluded the memorial we held in Kiev by reminding the young people there that our friend Kakha would not have wanted us to be merely sad at his death, although certainly sadness was warranted, but to carry on in good humor, as he did. I always remember him with a friendly grin on his face, smiling at a little joke he had just told, and carrying on with benevolence and joy. So let us go forward as Kakha Bendukidze did, happy promoters of peace and liberty, without hatred or anger, to free the world from oppression, from statism, from intolerance, and from war. Let us follow the example of Kakha Bendukidze. a happy implementer of liberty for all.